Hillary, why do you want that man? Just let me know. If you guys are new here, my name is Ashley, and this is My Sweet Perspective, where I give my take on all things TV and movie related. Back to talk about Expats, Episode 3, Mid-Levels. And y'all, I'm over Hillary. I don't like anything about Hillary, but let's go it. I'm actually going to do this review kind of a little bit of a different approach, and we'll talk about each character that way and see how we like it. Yeah, but again, if you're new here and you haven't subscribed, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Okay, hit the like button, hit the notification bell, because I post every day, y'all. I post something every day. Okay. So let's get right into it. And let's start with Mercy, you guys. The actual episode opens up with Mercy, and she sees one of the babies on one of them leashes. And that was my thought. If you're taking a 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7-year-old, okay, to that night market, as crowded as it is, and I don't care what people say or how they feel about it, that little bungee thing for the babies, it would have been a lifesaver. Literally, unfortunately, as we see the story unfolds. But anyway, Mercy sees that, and immediately she's kind of back in that moment again. And what's interesting about Mercy's character to me is the fact that we constantly see her in this cycle of self-loathing, guilt, and then like isolation or punishment. Right? And I don't know if you guys have seen that or noticed that, but it's consistent. It's like when she's starting to have a good time or starting to let things go, she immediately kind of reverts to this place, right? Where her thoughts overtake her and she can't help but be consumed by what happened. And that's partially her own thing, but also partially the entire blame being put at her feet. You know what I mean? You know, which is, you know, you can say what you want to say. She was wrong. She was not paying full attention. But I think there were other parties at fault as well for this situation to have happened. Anyway, we kind of see, that she's also constantly reminded of what happened, whether it's seeing the kid on the little bungee or walking down the street, seeing a mom crying or seeing a little boy Gus's age, right? Constantly triggered. Now, what I think is also interesting is her relationship with David, because, for me, that would be a constant reminder, but for whatever reason, she finds solace in him and he finds solace in her. I don't know how the moral ambiguity also throws me with Mercy, because, you know, with the loss and everything that happening, I don't know how she in good conscience sleeps with Hillary's husband. Like, I don't know how that works. And maybe the two aren't related, but maybe they are. So on this episode, she actually makes a little friend, Charlie, or so we think. But as soon as kind of Charlie brings her in, she runs away. Again, it's that, let me isolate myself. You know, I feel like that. I don't know if it was that or she felt uncomfortable in the situation. But she's back laid up with David again, making jokes, and he gets offended. You know, and she finally kind of asks him about his marriage and what's going on. And David's thought is that, you know, my wife paused on me. And I'm thinking, that's why you here sleeping with Mercy? Because Hillary paused on you? Hillary got some ways about her. Now that those things would have made me pause on her, but not this. So basically, when the whole thing with Gus happened and David had lied about where he really was, and Margaret was losing her mind, confronting and making it seem as though David had something to do with Gus's disappearance, which he might have. Okay, that's not out of my mind yet. He could have had something to do with it, because I don't trust nobody. I don't trust the housekeeper. I don't trust that driver now. I don't trust any of them. But when Margaret confronted Hillary and David about that, Hillary paused instead of jumping right to his defense. But my thing is, Hillary don't know where you are right now. So how could she jump immediately to your defense when you can't be trusted, David? Genius. But in those moments, I see why they connect, he and Mercy, because she feels like an outcast. He feels, you know, like he wasn't trusted or whatever in his marriage. So now David is actually living in a hotel, doing his own thing. Now, what David did this episode was slipped around and messed up and sent a real nasty text message thinking he was sending it to Mercy. He sent it to his wife. And his wife, no, they ain't got busy at all. Okay. And so the wife is trying to track him down because she has a dinner party to host, because of course, appearances. That's the most important thing. Appearances are the most important thing in this small society, I guess. And he ain't showing up. So she proceeds to have the dinner party with people having inappropriate conversation because that's what they do. Hillary, you guys, I really don't care for her character. I think she is pretentious. I think she is stuck up. She has an air of superiority, which kind of carries over to Margaret as well, as we see Margaret in the grocery store scene. But yeah, Hillary's really not likable in general. And so, of course, she's having her dinner party. She discovers that he's being unfaithful. And now she wants to reconcile. She really wants to get David back. You know, why don't they try for a baby? Because a baby solve everything, right? Yeah, they solve everything. And so they go and meet at this bar, and immediately she starts criticizing the wait staff, the bar, all that. And so he's turned off. He's like, see, this is the stuff I'm talking about. You're so pretentious. So again, it's more than that. It's her. It's who Hillary is as a person. He just doesn't like her. Hillary's dinner party. Margaret, during this episode, is clearly unwinding. Okay, she is unwinding, whatever you want to call it. And as a parent would, I think, okay. But she interrupts the dinner party because she discovers that the man, Hillary's neighbor who passed away, had a picture of Gus, and his Shih Tzu. And so now she thinks something more nefarious was going on with the neighbor. Maybe he had something to do with Gus's disappearance. And since Hillary, watered his plants and fed the cat, she had a key. And so now Margaret wants the key to get in the apartment to do her investigation. Back to Margaret. This episode, like I said, she's just unraveling. Margaret has moments of clarity and sanity, but I think a lot of her character resides in the low places. Like either manic, right? Or just in a completely depressive state. Very, very unhinged. And again, I wouldn't know what that's like to lose a child in that manner. Literally lose. But you know, it spills over into everything. And so Clark, he's trying to find solace, honey. He even went to talk to the preacher, but Clark is not a person of faith, but he's looking for something. He's seeking. Okay. Meanwhile, Margaret is talking about, you know, how when the police came and they were doing the investigation, she didn't know all of Gus's identified markings. She didn't remember them. And so now she puts her kids through this whole thing where she wants to photograph every inch of their body for any markings. And the son goes with it. It's very uncomfortable, very awkward. But when she goes to the daughter freaks out. And she freaks out and it's a mess, and Clark has to go in to break it out. And then of course she discovers the picture and it sends her down a whole other rabbit hole where she's spazzing out. Again, I actually have empathy for Margaret and what she's going through, but whatever that elitism is still manages to kind of rear its head even in this. It doesn't take away from her loss or my empathy for her, but it makes me not like her character as much. So we see her in this grocery store scene looking for corn syrup, and it's like, sis, you're in a whole nother country. They don't have to speak English. Why didn't you learn Cantonese, my good sis? Like, it's so sick the level of entitlement you'd have to go into these people's store and get mad at them because they can't understand English. Girl, you were in their country. Like, okay. And so of course we see her unravel, get into the guy's apartment, do her little sub investigation. Meanwhile, the detectives are back at the house when she gets back trying to tell Clark what she found. And they say that they've identified a body that matches Gus's description. And that, you know, she needs to head out in the morning. But baby, we know Margaret's not waiting until the morning. She needs to go see about her child. And I hope we get more answers, you guys. This is a limited series, so we're only going to get these, 6 episodes? And I still have so many questions. I still want to know where David's at. I want more details on the staff as well. I want to know the details on the staff. And I also want to know about this neighbor. I want to know who he was. I want to know. And I want to know if there's anyone else in the building, because we know Gus was a runner. He was a track star. Did he ever run off before an encounter or come across anyone else? The night market is such a random place, though. It may or may not be someone from the building. But I'm curious to know, you guys. I definitely still have questions. It's definitely still a mystery. Drop in the comments below your theories. And if you're still here, thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see y'all in the next video.